Hello and good morning to everybody. I got on here a little bit early, so I'd just like to say welcome to my first live stream. Sitting here sipping on some coffee, enjoying my morning. It's brisk out there today. Really cold, so it's starting to feel like winter out there. It's about time, huh? So I don't know how it is in your neck of the woods, but at least here it's like really starting to get cold. Felt like there for a while. It seemed like the weather was just like really mild all fall. So it really had, like, as far as like fishing goes, it was like really different this year. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of get started here. So I know the topic of this live stream is slow rolling spinnerbaits. So I am going to get to that, but I'd like to welcome you all to my channel. If this is your first time at my channel, I like to do fishing, kayak fishing. I do like kayak tips and reviews and a little bit of everything. I also do bank fishing and stuff. And so like this year, like one of my goals has been to try to branch out and do different things. So I have fished for different species this year, but primarily like I do a lot of like bass fishing and crappie fishing is like my big ones that I've really been doing this year. But I would like to welcome you to my channel, and the way that I'm going to get started today is I just kind of like wanted to share something with you all before I get started on the main part of the content. So let's get started here. So like I said, this is my first time doing this, so trying to get used to like this software that I'm using here. But I've got a little video I'm going to show you here, and it just kind of shows you like the joys of trying to shoot fishing content for YouTube. So when you go out fishing, like normally, like you're not trying to film anything. Like usually when I go out, I try to have like an idea in mind of like whether I want to like make a video on a certain presentation, or like whether I'm just like fishing just to fish, and then I'm gonna compile that into a video. But a little bit of background, like you see me here, got my rod here. Let me go back to the beginning. Alright, so if we go back to the beginning here, look at that wonderful face there with my eyes shut, looking like a dork. But one of the things that I've like really tried to do this year is like really like try to gain confidence in different techniques. And so like one of those techniques that I've gained confidence in the last year actually is like slow rolling spinnerbaits. But originally I had planned on going out and trying to fish an Alabama rig. As you'll see in the video, like it was kind of like really just like nasty outside, and it was just kind of gross. So alright, so Elite Legend, talking about my reel first there. Cast. So I've been wanting to fish this today, but there's really been no wind or chop on the water. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to fish it, but the wind has kind of picked up here. From what I've educated myself about with this thing is that you got to have some chop on the water. You don't want to fish it when it's calm. So let's see, where should I go? I'll just go over here this way. So like I said there, like got out on this day. What's up, Jonah? Hey, welcome to the stream. I was kind of waiting for the wind to pick up. It was dead calm when I got out there, and I was trying to make it work with like other lures and stuff, but it was dead calm. And then like you can see there's a little bit of ripple to the water. Overcast day, so like it should have been a perfect day to use the umbrella rig. And so I paused here, I think like to fix my hat. I started pulling that bait again, and thought I got bit. Nope. Let's see what that is. Please don't tell me they're already hung up. Thought there for a second I had a bite. Are you serious? wait, look at my face. This is the face of, I just lost like $20 in like fishing tackle in one foul swoop. The glory and pain of the umbrella rig. Alright. Oh man, that's too funny. Alright, you should be able to hear me now. Sorry about that. A little technical difficulty. But there, like, you see that, like, I had the spinnerbait tied on, or I had that umbrella rig tied on, and I was, like, really frustrated because I lost that umbrella rig. So I paused for a second, and I immediately thought, like, hey, like, I got a spinnerbait here. I'm going to just go ahead and tie that sucker on and get going with a spinnerbait, because the conditions are kind of the same as far as like what you're looking for that umbrella rig and a spinnerbait. So yeah, so like I immediately like transitioned, sucked up the loss there of that, you know, wonderful umbrella rig, and it was very frustrating. But hey, so I'm going to start this a little bit here. So reach back, and I actually already had this tied on. Just a little booyah spinnerbait here, and I'm going to pause that there. If you've never slow rolled spinnerbaits in the wintertime, I have a lot of confidence for it, like until the water gets down below 40. After that, like I kind of lose a lot of confidence in it, but usually that like 38 to like 55 is like a really prime time if you're trying to fish for bass and slow roll a spinnerbait. So the key with slow rolling a spinnerbait is to keep it down. So when you're looking at like what you're wanting to choose, let me see here. All right, so I got a couple here that I got for this live stream. So this is Booyah. I like Booyah spinnerbaits. but this is a booyah blade. I usually either go with the tandem, which if you don't know much about fishing spinnerbaits, the tandem, it has like the different shaped blades. So like you've got the willow blade and then the other blade that doesn't look like it if you don't know much about fishing, but you can see the difference in the blades. This one here has 2 willow blades, and what I find is these willow blades are going to like have a lot less tension whenever you're in the water, so it's a lot easier to get this deeper and keep it deep if you've never tried to slow roll. So if you've never tried to do this before, I usually just do, like, as far as like weight goes, I just do like a half ounce. A half ounce seems to be the best all around. I can keep it down, and it seems to be the easiest for me. Now, as far as like the equipment goes that I use to fish that on, here in the video, I've got an Abu Garcia Veritas or Veritas, like, I guess if you're in Kentucky, you'd be like, Veritas. Yeah, get that Veritas rod. So I got that rod, and I think it's an older version. They've come out with newer ones recently. And then I've just got like a reel. I usually use like a 6-to-1 reel, nothing crazy. So if you've never used this technique before, some people prefer to go down in like reel ratio and use like a 5-to-1, something more like you'd use for crankbaits or something like that. I can slow down enough with the 6-to-1 to where I can still fish this effectively, but I'm also able to make up line with that reel. And that's a big deal in a kayak, just because like you can get blown around and you're probably moving a lot more. So I'm going to start this back here.
There we go. Oh, man. Oh, buddy. Oh, yeah. Come on. Get that net. Get that net. Yeah. Golly, Dad. Whoa-wee.
So if you can't tell there, I was a little excited. I was really excited about that fish. Like, it was cold out there. You're going to see here in just a second that it's like, I mean, like you can tell I got my rain jacket on. It was kind of like spitting rain and a little bit of snow, sleet. So it was cold out there, and I was really frustrated because I just lost, like, it was maybe 10 minutes prior to this that I lost that umbrella rig.
Son, yeah! Slow rolling spinnerbaits can be a key to catching nice, not only late fall, but wintertime bass. I'm going to tell you exactly what I use coming up. Nice one.
So originally here, I had... Alright, so my original plan here was... my original plan here was to... Let me switch this up. Alright, so my original plan here was to use this for a video. And the reason why is I didn't is because later on in the video you're going to see that I actually end up losing this spinnerbait. And like a week prior to this, I'd gone through my tackle and I was like, oh, I'm going to go back and buy a bunch of new lures. And I emptied out my spinnerbait box and completely forgot about it. But yeah, like when you catch those fish like that, like it's hard not to get excited. So I was super pumped to catch that fish. Like when it's, I'll tell you what, like I really find two different situations. One, when it's like crazy hot outside and miserable, or when it's crazy cold outside and miserable, and you get rewarded with catching those big fish like that, it's the best. So, like catching that fish, like if you saw it, like I got it hooked right in the mouth, and like right in this corner of the mouth, like one of the best places you could probably hook it, and it was like super sweet to catch that fish because I was like super cold and just miserable out there. So let me get back to this here and hit play again. So let me skip forward.
Hey, boom! Another day, another dollar. So there's a bait that I just caught that fish on. It's a booyah spinnerbait. Just this water is stained, but just a classic white spinnerbait. And I will link down below exactly the model of this spinnerbait and everything. But usually between like 3/8 and a half ounce is usually what I use. I don't usually fish super deep. Some of these lakes around here you can. You might want to get up to like a 3/4 ounce. But what you're wanting to make sure is just that you have the right weight to be able to keep that lure down. So I'm fishing about 8 foot here. So what I'm doing is I'm just casting this out. I'm allowing this to sink to the bottom, and then I'm just slowly reeling it in. If I feel like it gets too far off the bottom, I'm gonna let it sink back down and start reeling in slowly again.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all can see. You can kind of see like a little bit, like it's like kind of spitting snow. It's just like, I mean, it's a nasty day.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna switch this up a little bit. But sometimes you can change the bait and what you can catch on it by changing the profile a little bit. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take this skirt off. Let's get this skirt off here. Let's take that off and sit that down there. And what I'm going to do is this is actually a Fat Albert little zoom curly tail grub. So I'm going to thread this on here. Give that bait a little bit more of a smaller profile than with that skirt, and see if that doesn't help with some bites. So you just, there you go. Let's try that out. I had caught one on it with the skirt on it as you would buy it in the store. But sometimes it helps to kind of experiment around. Sometimes people put paddle tail like swim baits on there. Just depends on your personal preference. That's probably a bass right there. I just marked. I'm gonna try to target him.
All right. So when I do this, like the thing is that like with these spinner baits, like when you take that skirt off, it changes the profile of the spinner bait, and you're able to change up your spinner bait pretty fast. Taking that skirt off, you can put on a grub or a paddle tail swim bait and be able to switch up not only your profile but also your color. So whenever you take off that skirt, you can put on like a white grub or a white swim bait, or you could put on something like chartreuse. Like, I don't really feel like the head of the lure really matters as much as people like give it credit for. So like, let's say you put on a white grub and you're not getting any bites, maybe dip the tail of that sucker in some JJ's Magic or some Dip It, like the Dip and Glow stuff, and you can like really switch up those colors pretty fast. Try to experiment around. That's one thing I like about taking the skirt off. Now it does change the profile as far as like what it looks like. So let's say like you have like some really murky water. Sometimes the extra bulk of that skirt can really help the fish, but for the most part, like the water in this situation was pretty, I mean, it was pretty clear, so it wasn't like super duper like nasty. So I was trying to just like switch things up. I hadn't had a bite in a little bit. Like I got like one other small fish, but nothing with some size like that other one. So just try that. If you've never done this technique before, go buy a couple, just like a white or a white and chartreuse, like half-ounce spinnerbait, and either tandem or double willow. And then like the other tip is, let me see here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play again. Yeah, I lost my bait there.
So unfortunately, I broke that one off and don't have any more. So unfortunately, I broke that one off here, and I don't have any more of that spinnerbait. I kind of cleaned out my spinnerbait box. I need to re-add everything to it because I had a bunch of old ones in there, and yeah. So done with the spinnerbait for today, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that fish catch there. I did catch a couple small fish on it, but nothing worth putting on the camera. So as always, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this tip today. Sometimes these days like this, it looks crappy. We got a little bit of like misty rain, but sometimes these can be the best winter fishing days that there are, as long as you can stay warm. So if you're looking for a tip on how to stay warm, click.
All right, guys. So y'all should be able to hear me now. I fixed that scene there, but. So yeah, like face of defeat. Like I was really frustrated because I should have planned ahead and gotten more spinnerbaits, but I really hadn't planned on. I planned on doing that 1 hour Alabama rig challenge for myself, and didn't end up being able to do that because I lost that sucker too. So, like the key to this, like what I've found is, one, either keeping your bait close to the bottom so it's like ticking off those rocks. So I usually let it sink to the bottom, and then I'm going to slow roll it. And if you feel like you're coming up too far off the bottom and you're not hitting stuff, just stop reeling, slow down, let it sink back down. But you are going to risk like getting these suckers hung up. Like that's part of it. So another trick that I found is I call it artificially bumping things. Yeah, it's super technical. But what I mean when I say artificially bumping things is, let's say you pull it, like let's say you've got, if you look in, let me go back to that screen there. So if you look in the background of this shot here, you got those trees there. Let's say you cast past that tree, but you aren't able to bump anything next to it. Sometimes if like right as you pass that tree, you're just going to give your rod a little flick, just like flick it right as you come past that tree, and it's going to cause the skirt on that sucker to like expand. It's going to cause those blades to probably like flare out and possibly hit each other. And sometimes that can trigger a strike even though you didn't really bump into it. That's another technique that I also use with my crankbaits when I'm fishing for bass. You know, like when you're looking for conditions for this, like these, like I said here, the cloudy, overcast days are, and you want a little bit of chop on the water, are the perfect days for this. So it looks like crap. You look at the background of this video here, and it just seems like a really horrible day to be out fishing, but it was really a great day to use this technique or use like umbrella rigs. And I was rewarded with that fish. So I'm gonna go back to that there because I know I got a couple new people on the stream here. But slow rolling spinnerbaits can really help you catch big, you know, late fall and winter fish.
Here we go. Oh man. Oh buddy. Oh yeah. Come on. Get that net. Get that net. Yeah.
So guys, if you've never tried this before, like I would tell you all to just give it a try. One of the I was a little excited there. So like if you want to give this a try, like go get you a couple half-ounce spinnerbaits. That's usually what I prefer to use, is just keep it simple and just challenge yourself. Maybe say to yourself like, hey, for the next hour I'm gonna just fish this bait, because like one of my big things is I really had to fight to start using spinnerbaits and chatterbaits and stuff because I have so much confidence in a crankbait. I love fishing crankbaits. Got a lot of confidence in it, but sometimes you have to challenge yourself, and that's really how you're going to make yourself more of a versatile fisherman. So a great way to catch fish in the wintertime. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream today. I appreciate all you guys that jumped on here. Jonah and Joshua, and then good old Dawn. I appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. Give this a try next time you guys go out. And as always, guys, I love talking fishing with you guys. I love going fishing, and you know, like good old Bucktails Outdoors there said, spinnerbaits have always been my go-to for years. Man, like when I was younger, I don't know, like, so a little bit of backstory on me. I kind of got away from fishing for a while, and I kind of got back into it. And like the reason I got back into it was because I found it to be very helpful to deal with the stress of like military life. And that's kind of like when I got back into fishing later on. And you know, like I used to have a lot of confidence when I was younger in spinnerbaits. I fished a lot of ponds and stuff back in my day. I was always on like the bank or something, so like I had a lot of confidence in spinnerbaits. But I just kind of like lost it there for a while, but I've really tried to pick it up more this season, and it's really delivered for me. And as you can tell, that's a really nice fish there, and that fish hammered that spinnerbait. And a lot of people think like when it gets nasty like it is in the video there outside, they assume that you just gotta drag a jig around or fish a Ned rig, but you can really go out and capitalize on these fish using some of those reaction baits. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching, and as always guys, get outside, do something awesome. Don't forget to take somebody with you if you get a chance, and appreciate every single one of you. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. And I know you guys are subscribed and all that jazz to my channel, and I plan on continuing to go out until it gets too cold to fish. And when it gets too cold to fish, you know when that is? When everything starts freezing, like the water, and you know, your reel ends up freezing. Thank goodness I'm not up north like Bucktails Outdoors where the water gets hard. But appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. I will peace out. thank you all for tuning in to my first live stream. Appreciate every single one of you all. If you all get a chance, I'm going to link a video down below in the end card of this video, and I would appreciate it if you all check it out. Get outside, do something awesome, take somebody with you if you get a chance. See you guys.